Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how I created this. What is this? This is a no-code website that I have built as part of our project to flip domains. The goal is to take some domains that we purchased that fit really good keywords and turn them into profitable websites so that we can later sell them or continue holding them and make money off of them. This one is an empowering quotes for women website with the keyword bad beach quotes. And surprisingly, for me at least, bad beach quotes has a really good keyword. I'm going to show you how I created this website from scratch within 1 week, and I have to say I worked on it maybe an hour or two a day during this week, so you could ideally do it in 1 day if you have a full day to dedicate to that. And I created it writing 0 lines of code, completely no code website, and also I used mostly free tools. So my main stack is free. I did use some paid tools that we use in the company, but you can probably find alternatives that are either cheaper or free for them. I'm gonna get to that in a second. So in this video I'll take you through the 5 steps process that I have done so far to get this website up and running with my no code and what I plan to do with it in the future. The things we'll go through in this video are choosing my domain, the tech stack, building the website, SEO optimization, and most importantly, the monetization plan. Let's get to it. Choosing the domain. We have a full video that Eric did about flipping domains, so I'm not gonna get too much in depth on that. You can check it out up here and go see the full video after you watch this one to see how to pick up the right domain. In this case, I knew I wanted to create a quotes website. I had in mind what it's going to look like, what it's going to be like, and I knew it would be relatively simple to do technically with no code. So that was my first requirement. Second, I started looking for keywords that had low keyword difficulty but high volume, high search volume. And bad beach quotes was a really good keyword. You can see in Ahrefs that it has really good potential that some websites are already tapping into, but no one has the badbeachquotes.com domain. So I went ahead and bought it, and this is my domain for this project. Now I could start building my website. On to the second part. Building the website is really the main part of this video because there are so many website builders out there and no-code tools. In retrospect, I could have probably built this website with just a regular website builder, but I had some ideas with a little more complex things that I wanted to do. In the past, I had some experience working with Bubble to build no-code tools, and I really liked it, but it has some issues, the major one being that I'm not a designer. I'm not great at UX and UI, at front end in general, and Bubble requires understanding of UI. You have to make everything responsive on your own. You have to make everything look good on your own. So that's a little more time consuming and difficult. For this case, I wanted to try something a little different, and I went ahead with Softr. Softr is a no-code tool that is really design friendly and really beginner friendly, but at the end of the video, I'll give you all of my notes about it. Softr is the front end of my website, and you also need a database to save your data on. And in Softr case, the tool to use is Airtable. So it's Softr and Airtable. I used both of them for this project. This is my tech stack. Yeah, I did use Ahrefs for keyword research, and I used a tool called Softr for SEO, which we'll talk about later. I used Canva, but the main stack is the 2 tools that I just discussed, which is Softr and Airtable. Before starting, I had to sit down and think for a second about what the features are for this new no-code tool that I am creating for bad beach quotes. And I came up with a pretty minimalist list of features, and spoiler alert, I had to give up on one of them. Let's see if you can figure out which one. I wanted to have quotes with an image that is downloadable, savable. I wanted to have a daily quote where you randomly see a different quote every day. That's the daily quote for inspiration and, that kind of thing. I wanted to have an option to submit a new quote so that users of the website can submit their own quotes to it. And of course, search and filter options. People had to be able to search the quotes according to author and category and just basically kind of browse around them and see exactly what they want to see and not just get lost in a lot of quotes. I also had some plans for the future where I was like, okay, if this succeeds, if this works, these are some features that I want to add in the near future. First, category or topic specific pages where people can see a collection of quotes in their specific category or third topic, whatever. Author pages, same idea. Members area where people can actually save some quotes and take some more advanced actions. I don't know exactly what these actions are, but this is the initial way to create some sort of attention and do a little more than just a website, to start giving some features for the members area that maybe at some point they would actually be willing to pay for, but more importantly, I'll collect emails from and build my mailing list. Lastly is ads. This is definitely the main monetization plan for this website. Ads from Google, and as I get traffic, I also get money. Ching ching. So have you guessed yet which one of these features I had to skip out on from my main features? Don't worry, I'll let you know later on as you see me build the website. Let's move on to the third part, building the website. So when you create a Softr project, you have to connect it to a data source, and their recommended data source is Airtable. I went ahead with their recommendation, even though I knew nothing about either one of them, and created a base in Airtable. It's really very intuitive to use. There are a lot of advanced features that I had to kind of Google, but the basic stuff, just creating a table, creating the fields, adding the data, was really very simple and easy. So I created a new free space on Airtable. In this space, I created an Airtable base. An Airtable base is basically like a database. This represents the database for your application or for whatever purpose you are using it for. In an Airtable base, you can create as many tables and views as you want. For this particular case, I only needed one table because it's a very simple solution. The next step is to build my data structure. So I created a data structure for all the details that I need for these quotes. I needed the quote, the author, the categories, and of course the image that will be displayed on the website. Once I created that, I imported some quotes that I manually created before. I wanted to have at least a few quotes to work with so I can see what it looks like on the website and, get everything up and running with real data. The process of actually collecting these quotes from the internet and, collecting them together in a table and then creating a Canva image for each of them, this was the most time-consuming part of this website, honestly. And this is like the simplest part, right? If this is a project that I invest in, I would take someone off of Upwork or Fiverr to do it for me in bulk, so I can have hundreds of quotes. But for the sake of this website right now, I just wanted to have some basic quotes, like 10 that I can get started with and get the ball rolling. So now I have a database. I have an easy database in Airtable. Amazing, that was really quick. And now let's get started with actually building the website on Softr. But first, coffee. So to get started, I created a blank project in Softr. Created a blank project just so that I can get started off of something and build my pages. The first page I wanted to build was the all quotes page. So I went ahead and created a page and called it all quotes. And then I wanted to display the quotes from my database in Airtable. So I added a list with images that fit exactly what I needed. This list would display all of my quotes with their images and details that are important for my visitors on the website to see when they come in. I connected my list to the Airtable database so that it knows exactly where to take data from, and then I spent a while trying to figure out why it's not showing any of my quotes. Nothing I did made it show any of my data. The aha moment came when I figured out that in order to show my data in this list, I had to map the fields in the list to the fields in the database. Duh, yeah, that makes sense, but I didn't think about it. So what you have to do in a case like this in Softr is map out the author to the author, the title to the title, the text to the text, the image to the image, etc. I did that, it took like a second, and suddenly my quotes were showing up on the website. How exciting. Next, I set up the filters for this list. Remember, one of my requirements was to be able to search and filter according to category and author. So I did that, and I did have a difficult time with setting up the author filter. For some reason, it just didn't work out in the beginning. I fixed it later on, but that again was a bit of a time-consuming process. I actually don't know what was the issue, but eventually I made it work. And not knowing what the issue is, but getting it to work, that's that made me feel like a real developer, because that's all developers do all day. The quick view showed me that everything was looking pretty good so far, and next I wanted to make sure that when someone clicks a quote, it opened up a dedicated page showing the full image, the quote, the author, the categories, all the details that are important to people who want to copy this quote and use it anywhere they want to use it. So I went back to editing and added an action that happened whenever someone clicks an item from the list, in our case, a quote. What happened whenever someone clicked an item was to open a list details page. This is a built-in feature in Softr. I didn't have to create this page from blank. But I did not like the way that the page looked. It did not serve the purposes of the website. The quote, it didn't show the full image. It showed like a user directory kind of a page, which is not what we want here. So instead, I decided to create a completely blank page to show a list item. I added to add an element called list details with image that looks exactly like I wanted. All I needed to do is kind of adjust the way that it looked. But it had all the components that I needed and a large image, which is exactly the goal we have here. Here too, I had to map out all of the fields that I wanted to show and kind of delete the things that I didn't want to show, as well as adjust it a little bit. Problem again, it doesn't look great with my images. The general alignment just wasn't really working for me. After a quick Google search, I realized that each of the elements in the list, in Softr, in a page, in a component in Softr, had its own design settings. So all I had to do is go ahead and change the design settings for each of these elements, their alignment, their size, etc. So I changed everything to my liking and it looked good now. Now, you might see that my images were square in the beginning. Later on, I changed them to be vertical so that they are nicer for social media, but the resolution actually worked well, so I didn't have to change anything again afterwards. But if I did, I could have done that pretty easily. So we've got an all quotes page and we've got a specific quote page. Next, I wanted to go over to the homepage, and my goal for the homepage was to show a single quote, a daily quote that is randomly updated every 24 hours, every day. And that, my friends, is where I encountered Softr's technical limitations. I really searched the internet. I tried hacking it through Softr and hacking it through Airtable, and I was fine with using some minimal code if I needed to. If I need to use a script or something like that, I was okay with that. But it was not possible. From what I saw, it would be possible if I upgraded either Softr or Airtable or both of them. And it would still require some code and some learning and some time spending to get this done. And then I had to ask myself the question, is it worth it? When I looked at this feature from the eyes of a product manager, I tried to think, is this necessary for my MVP? And the overwhelming answer was no, it's not. I mean, yeah, it's cool, and it's the one reason I wanted to use a no-code tool rather than just a website builder, I'll admit, which was kind of a bummer. But do I have to have a dynamic daily quote for this website to fulfill its potential? Not really. So instead of investing time and upgrading both of these softwares that I don't know as well yet, and I'm not even sure that upgrading them will allow me to do what I wanted to do, I decided to give up on this feature. And I can always go back and add it if at some point the website is successful enough that I want to invest more into it. So with that new plan in mind, I had to make some changes. What is going to be in the homepage now? Yes, you guessed it right, the all quotes page. The all quotes page turned into my homepage, and that was really easy. It didn't require a lot. I did need to do some mapping again between the different pages, but that was okay. And once I knew how to do it, it didn't take me as long as it did the first time. I also included in that a redesign of some of my filters and elements for the list, just because I wanted to fit a little more with a homepage vibe rather than, a filter for quote page vibe. I feel like that wasn't clear, but I think you understand me. That's fine. So now I had my homepage, and really I was almost done with the technical part of building the website. Last part was to build a submit a quote page, because I did want my users and visitors to be able to submit their own quotes. So what I did is I used a simple form template from Softr and changed it to everything that I needed, added and removed the fields that I need. Some of the fields in Softr for some reason are non-deletable, but you can always hide them, so that's fine. And I had to also connect that to Airtable. I had to do that so that any quote that is submitted by a user is automatically added to my Airtable database. I also had to add 2 new fields to my Airtable database to actually capture who sent me this quote, who submitted it. So the name and the email of the person who submitted the quote. And that is important for me because in the future, these emails are one of the best assets that a website like this can generate. We want to collect emails, we want to take the opportunity to have people who are interested in the niche so we can later use it to market to them or communicate with them and retain them as website users. Almost done. Next, we need a logo, right? Everyone knows you need a logo. You can just use the Softr one that comes in with the default template. My approach to logos in generally is to keep it quick and simple, and that's exactly what I did here. I went to Canva, created a square logo, and downloaded it. It took me maybe 5 minutes. I used some basic colors that I liked. I used a template that looked good and just changed the letters so it fits the name of my website. That's it. And this is so unimportant, like your logo for something like that it's a little ridiculous that people waste so much time and money on these things. You can always change your logo later. Always. Like, take 5 minutes off of Canva. There are AI tools now that do logos, I think, so you can also use one of these. Create something basic, change it later if this is a success. No one is gonna care about your logo change. Never mind, I think I've spoken about logos enough in this channel. So I added the logo to my Softr account so that it actually shows up in the header of the website, and basically the website is done, right? Like, the basic features are done. Let's look for a second at the features list that I had. So I wanted quotes with downloadable images. Check. Daily quote, a random daily quote, not check, but we had to give up on this feature. Submit a quote, check. Search and filter according to categories and authors, check. Moving on to SEO optimization. So the first thing first, the pillar of SEO, content. That's where I started with, but I wanted to keep it even simpler and easier than it could be. And I used ChatGPT. I think you all know ChatGPT. You probably all heard about it. It's the biggest buzzword running around right now. And let me tell you, it is amazing. I used ChatGPT to write the Bad Beach Quotes article. I started by asking it for a kind of a syllabus of an article about Bad Beach Quotes, and then I asked it for each one of these subtitles to actually write the content. And it did. It wasn't perfect. I actually didn't read it at first and see that it wasn't perfect. Later on, I saw some of the naughty little ChatGPT issues, but it's still a huge time saver than if I would have sat down and wrote it myself, right? So it wrote the article for me, and then initially I just added it to the homepage below the quotes as is. But that wasn't the end of content. I wanted to make sure that this article is actually optimized to the keyword that I wanted to hit, which is Bad Beach Quotes. To do that, I used a tool that we love here in the company called Softr. Softr allows you to basically, either as you're writing or after you've written an article, to kind of do an audit of the content. You know, you put the article in, you tell it, this is the keyword that I'm aiming for, and it helps suggest what you need to add and what you need to change. Do you need to add more words? Do you need to add specific keywords that other articles aiming for the same keyword as you have in their article? I don't want to say the word article again, ever. So I put the article in, and initially, as you can see, it wasn't ranking that high at all. It was at 39 in the red zone, and that's not what we want. We want to get to the green zone. Softr suggested some keywords, so what I did is every time took a paragraph to ChatGPT and asked it to rewrite it, make it longer, and add some specific keywords that I thought would fit in this paragraph. I did that a few times, and slowly the ranking started going up. I also saw that it suggested some new titles, so I created a whole new section in the article with a new title and a few paragraphs under this title that also gave me some extra keywords, which again upped my score a little bit, and I just kept going and going. I did notice at this point that in some cases ChatGPT has its limitations. It did do a few wonky, repetitive things that don't make sense. You know, it is a computer after all. It's not yet as smart as humans. It's gonna be smarter than us probably in no time, but for now, us humans, we still have a role in this world. So I did have to kind of adjust here and there, make it make sense a little bit more, and remove repetitive things and themes and words. Eventually, I had a green zone article, and I think unfortunately I didn't film this part because this was a bit of a long process, but trust me, it was green, okay? Yeah. And then I put it in the website and just did some adjustments to make sure that it looks good. And now I had the optimized article in the website. And the goal here is just to make sure that this one-pager website, this homepage, ranks for the keyword that I want. The quotes are not enough. I need to add some content that Google recognizes as relevant to this specific theme and keyword. Next, I added Google Analytics to the website. Super important. No matter what you do, you need to add a Google Analytics tracking code to any kind of website or web tool. The reason is this will allow you to track your visitors, the actions that they take on the website, etc. So I created a new property in Google Analytics, and then I went to Softr and pasted in the appropriate place under integrations this tracking code from Google. It's very simple and repetitive if you are familiar with Google Analytics. If you're not, that's fine. Quick Google search and you will find it. Lastly, I did some SEO maintenance around the website. I edited each page SEO metadata so that there is a title and heading that Google can read, added my logo as a favicon, and of course connected my domain. Now, one note about that, Softr allows you to connect, I think, one domain in a free account, so I could theoretically not pay, but I also wanted to remove the little branding of made by Softr at the bottom, so I did end up upgrading to a paid plan, which wasn't really expensive, but if you want to make it completely free, you can stay with the branding and you don't have to pay at all. So now I have a website. It is ready. It's done. And let's talk about how we make money off of this website. What is the monetization plan? As I said in the beginning, the goal here is to do domain flipping. Take a domain that is not worth a lot, improve it, redo it, retouch it, throw some paint there and a deck and up the value, just like you would with property flipping. So my goal here is to really focus on SEO. I want this keyword, this domain, to start ranking in Google, and this is a process that takes time. For that reason, my first course of action would be to build some backlinks to this domain. I'm gonna start by doing some outreach to get backlinks to the domain, and I will give you an update in a few months' time how it went and is this website ranking in Google now? Where is it at as far as rankings, traffic, revenue, etc. Once I get enough revenue, I will connect Google Ads so that we can actually make some money off of this traffic. And if it really goes, blows up and becomes successful, you can do a lot of things with this website as far as expanding the services and getting this to be a revenue generating machine. But step by step. First, let's get some traffic in there, some SEO juices flowing. In this case, I'll just do some outreach to get backlinks. But that is because my website's niche doesn't really fit how. If it did, that would be my number one tactic to getting backlinks to the website. HARO stands for Help a Reporter Out, and I think I've talked about it before in this channel, but basically you can sign in, it's free, sign up for updates. They send you either weekly or daily emails with suggested articles that are looking for input, and you can sign up for the specific topics that you know about, that you are an expert in. When we started building backlinks for Reconvert, this is something we did. We signed up for things that talked about e-commerce, and we gave a lot of quotes and got really cool links from these quotes. So definitely a recommended way to get really high authority domains links. Just doesn't fit my specific niche. I actually spent a few days looking in the prompts that HARO sent me, and none of them were a fit for bad bitch quotes. That's okay, we'll find other ways. If I had the time to really spend on this website, I would, like I said in the beginning, take someone off of Fiverr to do a bulk creation of these quotes so we can have all of them in, and I would do some Instagram, Pinterest, Quora, Reddit, wherever possible. I would put some links to the website, some quotes, these images with a little tagline of bad bitch quotes so that people know where to find them. But that being said, I did do some Pinterest pins, and maybe I'll do a little bit of Quora soon. We'll see. Either way, if you want to know how the Bad Bitch Quotes website went, you feel free to follow us, and I will give an update in a few months if this is actually making money or making any kind of progress. It is a very low effort kind of project that is going to sit tight and wait, so take that into account. This is not like a new business venture, it's just a domain flipping project. We do have some other domains that we're going to flip soon, which we'll document just like we did this one, so let me know if you're interested in anything specific, and follow up to see them, because I think it's really cool and interesting. It's kind of an experiment for me. Will it work? Won't it work? I don't know, we'll see. I do want to give a word or two about Softr. Who should use it and why? So Softr, I feel like, is very limited as far as what you can do with it as far as customization. There are a lot of built-in amazing features for people who want to build dashboards and internal tools and user portals for their company or family or whatever it is. But if you want to build a SaaS, if you want something that is a little more advanced, that gives you the full customization that you might need, I don't think that's the tool for you. If you're a beginner who wants something that looks good without you having to work too hard to get it to look good, and who does a very specific set of features, then you can definitely use it. I did not in this video use the full set of tools that Softr allows you to use. You can do logins, you can charge money, and you can show like analytics and graphs, and you can do a lot with Softr that I just didn't need for this website. So if you are looking to build an MVP for your SaaS, I wouldn't go with Softr. If you are looking to build an internal tool for your company, you can probably use Softr. You'll enjoy it. It's fun to work with. The learning curve is not very steep. And yeah, I think this is it. If you are interested in hearing more about no-code tools and which ones I recommend, follow up. I'm making a video about it really soon, and I will see you then.